Hi students, today we will discuss regarding the DC characteristics of DC series motor. Same characteristics, yavu TA by IA, next EB, TA by IA, N by IA, and last is N by T. Right? So now, first one, TA by IA characteristics. For that, consider a DC series motor. Why DC series motor? Because here the field resistor is connected in series. Right? So what is the difference between series motor and shunt motor? Shunt motor there are two currents, ISH and IA. Shunt current and armature current. Eradu bare irtav. But in series motor, both shunt current as well as armature current. Shunt current we are going to call it as series current. Both series current and armature current are same. Right? So in the DC shunt motor, the flux was in parallel. The shunt resistor was in parallel. Right? So therefore it is not going to affect the armature current. But here it is in series. Yadu field resistor. Therefore it is directly going to affect the value of I. Let us consider the equation for torque. TA is equals to 0.159 phi ZIA P by A. Right? So now here TA is directly proportional to IA1 because it is directly proportional here. Along with that, here we need to consider current phi or flux phi. Why? Because here the flux is in series. This flux is going to affect the armature current. Therefore, we will get TA directly proportional to phi and IA. Right? So, but same current ISC is flowing through armature. Right? So, change in flux according to Fleming's law. Why there is a back EMF? Because of change in flux. Why there is a change in flux? That is because of flow of current. Back EMF whenever the current flows through the field resistor, it is going to affect the flux. Due to that, there is a change in flux, and that change in flux is going to result back EMF. Right? So similarly here phi is directly proportional to IA. Therefore I can write it as what? TA is directly proportional to IA square. Why? Because one IA is already there and phi is directly proportional to IA. IA into IA, we will get it as IA square. Right? So now if you draw that graph, right, so it is something like what? Y is equals to x square. So your graph should be a parabola, isn't it? The variation of TA with respect to IA is as shown in the figure, that is TA is directly proportional to IA square. The curve is a parabola. That is hanging IA increase agutta, hanganga TA nu increase agutta in the form of a parabola. Hindal case it was a linear because TA is directly proportional to just IA. But here it is a parabola because TA is directly proportional to IA square. Right? So if you got any doubts, please contact me. Right? So next we will go for N and IA characteristics. Right? So the speed of the motor is directly proportional to EB by phi. Why? Because as the field resistor is in series, we need to consider the effect of phi also. Right? So N is directly proportional to EB by phi. Right? So for series motor, what is the equation for EB? EB is equals to V minus IA into RA plus RAC. Why RA plus RAC? Because armature resistance as well as the field resistance are in series. Therefore, it is RA plus RSC. Right? So, therefore, see here there are two conditions I have written. As IA increases, that is IA increases, speed of the motor is going to decrease. Right? The flux increases due to which the speed decreases because it is inversely proportional. Therefore, if you draw the graph, it will be something like what? A decreasing curve. Decreasing curve. Right? So, hang decreasing agattandre nodri. N is inversely proportional to phi, but phi is directly proportional to IA. N is directly proportional to 1 by I. Athwa N is inversely proportional to IA. Right? So, hence it is something like what? A negative parabola. Right? So, you can assume it as a negative parabola. Right? So, therefore, the curve will be like that. ಹಿಂಗತೆ ಬಂದೈತೆ ಕರ್ವ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಐ ಎ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದಂಗೆ ಇದು ಟೋಟಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಟೋಟಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆತಂದ್ರೆ ಎನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕೇಸ್, ಎನ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು ಫೈ, ಬಟ್ ಫೈ ಈಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು ಐ ಎ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್. Change in current ಆದ್ರಷ್ಟೇ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತೈತಿ. Hence it is directly proportional. Therefore, N is inversely proportional to armature current IA. Due to that, we are going to get the graph in this form. Right? So, last is also same. Because N by TA, N is inversely proportional to IA. Right? So, but TA is directly proportional to IA. Or in general, N is inversely proportional to 1 by TA. Same case, ಹಿಂದೆ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ third case, ಹಂಗೆ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ ರೀ ಇದು. Therefore, which is nothing but what? TA is directly proportional to IA square. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ here the field resistor is in series. We need to consider flux as well as current. Therefore, TA is directly proportional to IA square and N is inversely proportional to IA. Therefore, N is inversely proportional to root of TA. The graph remains same as in case of your second characteristics. Right? So, as I already told, for your syllabus, you people will be not having the characteristics of DC compound motor. Right? So, this is about DC series motor and DC shunt motor. That's the remaining thing we will discuss in the next video, right?